Good day and welcome back to another Epic 7 video. In this video I want to talk to you a little bit about Epic 7 because I make Epic 7 content, but I think for me something that I get asked a lot as a question and something I've noticed, especially when trying to invite friends to play, is that Epic 7 is very difficult to get into. So difficult, so much so that beginner guides to Epic 7, like how to start Epic 7, like how to literally step by step start the process of an account in Epic 7, pretty much requires you to essentially follow a step by step guide. Like you have to follow a step by step guide to Epic 7. Start the game here. Do this. Choose this unit. Choose this one of a Moonlight summon. Make sure that you start this story. Activate this story summon. Summon until you get Tamarine. Summon until you get this character. Use this starter gear on this character. Do not upgrade this gear. Do not create this gear. Do not build this. Do not craft this. And basically, and I've done one as well, so it's not something that's unusual. It's some of the best performing content on the channels, tutorials, breakdowns, how to get involved in Epic 7. And it is hard. It is very hard because players will go through all of this. We're talking hours, by the way, of gameplay, carefully mediated gameplay, using the exact right things to do, not skimping, saving resources, making sure you don't overstep the line. And then only to find out that they have to summon for mystic summons that require them to buy a very specific currency, and it does fall apart a little bit. It just takes so long to get into, and the risk of getting soft locked in this game is very high. So players either follow a step-by-step guide to start their Epic 7 journey, or they don't, and chances are, I would say probably 8 out of 10, just stop playing the game. We can talk about frequency of updates as well to things like story and that, but I want to really focus on the new player experience here. And I think for me the new player experience in Epic 7 is just all the wrong way around. The first chapter, the part 1 of the story, is really good, and it allows you to just kind of go with the flow, introduces you to units, has a nice story. Chapter 2 I think also is good. Chapter 2 is more difficult, but it's more difficult whereas you can beat it with a coherent team of just well-built units with decent gear. From chapter 3 onwards, that's where things get really funky. Chapter 4, you have to basically build specifically 2 units to make it through. And very often, like for stuff like Abyss, Labyrinth, you'll see people say stuff like, you have to take Spectre Tenebria, you have to take Tamarine, you have to go get Landy. You need these units. It's not a question of, summon for these units, they make your life easier, but you can beat the game with anything. It's, you need these units or your PvE experience is going to be a living hell. That is a weird statement to make to new players. PvE, the main, well not main, but a large component of this game that is catered towards generating your items you'll use for PvP, is hell and an experience worse than death if you don't take these units. It is so strange a new player experience to have. Being a new player in a game, yes, a lot of the times, whether it's an MMO, a mobile game, there are soft lock points, or I want to say, especially in gacha games, points where they want to encourage you to spend. The game will ramp up the difficulty, things will get harder, you'll have to actually understand what you're doing to make your next progression point. That I completely understand. Epic 7 feels like this happens every 3 minutes. And the pace at which you get rewards makes it very difficult to do so. I understand there are guides like mine, like other people's, that help you to overcome this a lot. But the ultimate goal, like the rate at which it requires you to get to the point where you can partake in the end game experience and understand the game. Forget just completing the new game experience, understanding what's my best way to get items, what's my best way to upgrade my gear. Is this unit usable? Can I use this unit? Is this unit meta in PvP? A new player can follow all the new player guides they want, take all the correct units, enter RTA, and still get absolutely incinerated in ranked arena immediately. there is no like there's no visible step situation between the PvE experience and the PvP experience. You can do everything right in PvE, do the best you very much can with the gear lottery system that we have, and you can come out looking absolutely shocking in RTA, ranked arena, and other content. For me, they need to revamp a lot of ways that they handle certain things. Gear needs to be easier to control, not maybe easier to obtain, but definitely easier to get the stats you want, or at least the distributions you want. Characters need to be basically maintained a bit easier, brought out a bit easier, longer load times on the summon banners, and PvE updates and content has to happen at some point, especially the new player experience, because this game, it's really not growing, but it's really going to struggle. It really struggles to bring in new players, and I think it's something that could so easily be fixed, because the core game has a lot of really cool stuff with it, and the PvP aspects, the team building, the understanding of the mechanics is really fun, to the point where the new player experience is not a hellish existence of torture. And I think, unfortunately, that's what you have to get through to truly find your enjoyment in the game. And I think they have to work on that. But hey, that's just my experience of the game. I'd love to hear what your experience is in terms of the new player experience. Did you make it through? Did you not? Did you give up? Why did you give up? When did you give up? I'd love to hear those type of things. I think it's super important. So yeah, bye.